Okay, do a quick aftermath video here of the Derby car. Not really much to say because nothing really went wrong. Derby wasn't that long, wasn't that great either. So nothing really happened. I got one hit here, as you can tell. It's a little different. That's about it. The bumper's holding up well. I'm telling you, when you weld these 76s, they actually get a little too stiff, but I've chopped the front end off so much, frame down, and mounted as far in. It seems to be working so far. Nothing going haywire. Still got a carb issue. It may not be a carb issue though. I think it's time to check the compression. I'm going to start from the ground up. Like maybe have to do a video on that, what you're going to do when you basically get an engine. Start from the ground up, do a compression check. I might have a bad valve, or I might have a weak cylinder, because it backfires through the carburetor, even though the carburetor is brand new practically, and timing and all that's dead perfect. So the only thing other I can think of is the engine's been on too many derbies, so we'll see there. Take it all apart. But yeah, it backfires to the carburetor sometimes and kills it. Sounds really good, but then every once in a while, it backfires and dies. It starts right back up, but still, it's never been a problem. I've never had to restart my engines ever, so it's a little annoying. But other than that, nothing's changed. I'll show you a tip here when you're installing your batteries for a different reason than Derbying. Use 3/4 inch or bolts in that, because as you can see, they started to, the block there, and that terminal over there was off. I started taking them out because last night the car was parked on the street, and except for they didn't have a wrench big enough to take these nuts out, they actually tried to steal the batteries last night. So remember, use the biggest bolts you can, I guess, so that might defeat them, because everybody's going to think that, oh, it's just a 1/2 inch wrench I need. But these were bolted so solidly to the ground. You can tell this is what stopped them from getting this out, because they somehow managed to get the block out, but they weren't able to actually get the battery out. So I have two different sized batteries, so I had a piece of wooden block, but they couldn't get this bar going across out, so they couldn't steal the batteries last night. So they walked away empty-handed, which they were pretty stupid, because if they would have looked in the back of the truck, they could have just stole my welding torches and easily got money for their crack, whatever they wanted there. They made me cut my kickers, but they haven't even moved, so you can tell that it wasn't really that hard of a hitting derby. And I did just use the front end, which I'll show you why I should use the back more, because I didn't get the back end the way I wanted it yet. Had to throw some license plates to cover the holes. They're real picky about holes in the firewall this year. Camera mount worked pretty good. The video's already uploaded, so you can tell me what you think. But ratchet strap wrapped around the 1/4 inch all thread, which has got 1/4 inch hose, rubber hose stuffed all the way down it. I got mounted in 4 places, there, and all the way to the floor. That wasn't enough, so the reason all the tape's on there is there's a fiberglass practice arrow all the way down, duct tape to it, and that seemed to be that, and the ratchet strap seemed to make the most stable platform. It's pretty good. The footage isn't that great with these Go Action Emersons. It's not because of this mount, it's because the camera is fine for taking videos if it ain't moving, but once the camera has to move, it just doesn't have the refresh rate or something to keep up with the action. So I'd say that's one downside with it. It doesn't have a crystal clear view when the action starts moving. If you just mount it to a pole and film a derby, it's probably fine, but actually in the car, yeah, it's not the greatest. That's one place where it does not compete with the GoPro. The GoPro's great for moving action, but it's $40 compared to $400, so this will be the last derby this year. There was one in September. Yeah, I'm not going to allow welded cars. They're going to chain and go, so this car will be parked till November, October. At that point, you can see how this is, both sides, and see how that's crushed in. I'll just take the port of power, take this bar out, port of power from door beam to door beam, and I'll just push it right back out. It won't be a problem. Sometimes you have to push up here and there, but I'll get it back out where it's supposed to be. So at least it's covering the tires a little bit better. And maybe I'll weld up this. This is all split where I didn't realize this card had been clipped. The whole back of this card had been cut off and re-welded on with a different clip. So the bolts held though. That's all I did temporarily. I didn't have time to weld anything. So I just bolted it to the wheelhouse. I like this idea. If you start smashing your body down on a Impalas, that might be a good idea. It's hard to tell now. I'll have to go a few derbies because I don't know if that'll be a good thing, or if once the back end starts packing, it's going to just push your wheelhouse into the tire. We'll see. I think it's go that far yet. This is folding in nicely, the little bit I did do. The guy I hit in the beginning of the main, he's a good guy, but he's one of those guys that if you hit him too hard, he's like, alright, it's on, and he'll just, you know, he'll destroy you right off the bat. So I didn't want him to kill me right off the beginning. But it started rolling up a little bit, nowhere near like that one is, but I should have used the back end more. So at least the bumper wood, it's still a little crooked. Get it nice and straight. And plus, I won't have to worry about the next derby if I'm worrying about packing this back end in right. Other than that, rear end works great. It took quite a few shots to the rear axle. The tire over there is bent, this one's not, or rim's bent. But love that spool. Really got to thank Dave at Raptor Fab once again for that. It's awesome. The only problem I had, and you'll look if you see any video that there's another guy on there, Pontiac Freaks, got the video. You might be wondering what the hell I'm doing. Well, I've never driven a car with, you know, low gears, close to 410s in this, and didn't know that if you're on the gas, you can't steer. You have to let off, turn, and then hit the gas. So yeah, I was having a heck of a time steering out there, plus the track was just soupy and messy. Everything's holding up good though. So that's about it for this year. Yeah, I got to concentrate on maybe doing a chain and go at the same derby this will be running, the Arizona State Fair. Plus now I got to build one for the wife. She wants to really get out there and run another derby, so we'll have to start on that. But like I said, I don't really have to do much to this. Just figure out why the engine keeps stalling and just make the sheet metal a little bit better for a little more tire protection. Ready to go? That's about it. See ya.